I would like to go back to growing salmonella some days. I do it sometimes because I can guarantee that it will grow at this temperature at this time. For us people who work in the social sciences, people, people are hard to work with, and y'all have to have grace on us because for some of the agents and I were talking about that we fill out every survey that's sent to us because if we don't fill out the survey, we feel like we're going to get bad juju and people won't fill out our surveys when we send them.
Also, when I'm asked to be interviewed for someone collecting qualitative data, I'm like, yes, I'll do it because
Yeah. And then I go back and read the paper and find where I show up in said paper. They're going to me. That was me.
oh my goodness. Thank you for your thoughts on how to work with scholarship and research, and that there's just various ways. And for myself, I talked about humans, and my research for my dissertation was dead humans, and they're they're a little less complicated.
They were. But I'd be like, I need to be in a room with a window open to make sure they don't wake up and get me.
I never that type of dead human. I'm like, oh, no, no,
Look
no,
at that.
no,
Did you
no,
you tell it?
no, 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 oh my god, no,
How about what she did with dead people?
oh no, no, they were dead people that had written
Oh,
narrative.
yes. And then they started, they probably started talking in your dream. Oh, she read about me. Let me go talk to her. You
Oh,
know,
I dabble in textile science a little bit, chemistry and that, but like, no, the biological sciences and human.
no,
No.
I was wondering. I said, what did she do with? She didn't tell me about cadavers. I think there's work.
I can still remember the aroma of the frog that I had to dissect in 8th grade biology.
The joys of going to a small Catholic school. We didn't have that in our funding. No, no. My friends want to take me in a lab and have me dissect one just for the fun of them. But if I have avoided it this many years, I don't have to do it.
You know, what's sad is I have a photographic memory sometimes. It's all right now. Just, memories are flooding back. And what the fun part of the only fun thing that we got to do is that we had to do something with all the bones afterward and reconstructing something. And so I made mine into a woman sitting in a rocking chair knitting, knitting, knitting. Had to go back to textiles.
But hey,
8th grade biology.
hey,
My frog was knitting.
man. I'm very grateful that I did not have to do that because I would get that. I am still shocked. And I bet I never interacted with any anatomy of any animal. I did partake in turkey processing during my undergrad because we were going to have our fundraiser to raffle off a turkey. Mr. Lou said we had to process our own turkey. And I experienced that. I feel so bad for them.
Oh my gosh! So how was it like? You got a red turkey and you had to process that.
He walked them to their death, and he did not let us stay on the kill floor. We were not allowed. And so I did see the shock from the electric shock that they get. And next thing I know, they were coming through the processor for us to take out their guts. And they were warm. I touched them. So that one, I think I don't have to touch a turkey. I have to touch a frog.
Like this, I remember growing up, and my mother for some reason decided, I don't know, she just cracks me up. Or she decided we needed fresh turkey, not turkey, chickens.
Yes.
And so we were in Montrose, Colorado, and I remember I must have been like 5 years old. But I remember them sitting in the car as they were taking care of the chickens' lives, and then we got the chickens, brought them home, and she had to defeather them.
The
I think she was so sick of it at the end that she didn't even want any of the chickens. So I just remember the smell and
Yeah, that is our world in food science, food safety as well. We have to take meat science or poultry science. And so I ended up taking meat science. I said, cool, not many meat processing here in Alabama. But we still had to go to that poultry plant and see we started from the hatchery and made it all the way to the end of the processing. And I think that's where my disassociation comes in. So I need to have more grace for our feathered friends. But we had to learn the process from when they were born until they're to the end.
Oh, Lori.
And this is our world.
Well, it is. And I'm so thankful for the people that do that work. And
Yeah, and they're very passionate about it, and I see why.
yeah, yeah, I'm very thankful that they are doing it.
Eh,
Well, share with us some of your thoughts on the future of food safety and where are we going?
We have the Food Safety Modernization Act, which covers food from the farm to the table. In previous years, as far as food safety goes, we saw more heavy regulations on meats up until that point. But then we started seeing outbreaks with food beyond meat. Produce, we saw an increase in outbreaks. Even now, we're starting to see shelf-stable foods be a part of outbreaks. And so with that Food Safety Modernization Act, they cover produce, processing, shipping, trading, and traceability. It's going to be a big thing in food safety. With me working within the local food systems, that's why we see a lot of increase in local food systems because people know where their food came from. But in the larger industry, because of that FSMA rule and traceability, we're starting to know on that end where these ingredients are coming from, where the final products come from, what type of safety parameters has been put in place to make sure that product is safe. And so traceability is going to be a big thing, and it's something we're working our way through now. And we see it with the larger industry as far as FSMA go, and we are seeing, some people keep saying, why do we see so many recalls now? One part of that FSMA rule now is that people have to declare allergens. So some of those recalls are, did you declare all your allergens on there? If you didn't, you need to recall it back and relabel your product. And then in the local food area, although people know where it came from, they are putting more in place of making sure that you label your food. So the jams and jellies that you get from the farmer's market, they want you to put your name or your business name and contact information just in case something goes awry with your product, or if you need to recall your product. How are you diligent? What due diligence are you putting in place to make sure that you can recall your products back? With those smaller industries, in certain states, that's not completely put into place, or that's not the rules and the laws. But that's one thing that I saw change in Iowa, is that they had particular food for cottage industry and whole food processors, and having a better way of, you need to be tracing your lots or the batches that you put out and things like that, so that if something goes awry, that you have the proper documentations in place that can help you. One of my colleagues said, with this Food Safety Modernization Act, growers and processors said, oh, y'all are trying to get us in trouble. And the colleague said, no, we're not trying to get you in trouble.